I actually don't have an intro for this one, actually.
I do.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, tell me.
So I was here. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. Hello, first of all, my name's Spencer.
Okay.
It's really nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hey, Spencer.
I think that if we want to be a Southern California-based podcast that discusses pop culture, I don't want to call this a pop culture podcast because that's limiting us. I think
Because we're all culture?
We're all culture. But we were doing some research, Ethan, you and I, yesterday.
Yeah. That's right.
And I think there's we need to learn from the masters. And of course,
okay,
I'm
yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about the Escape Pod podcast.
With great power comes great, literally everything, right? I don't know what the...
That's their
I don't
joke.
know what the most recent one is. Yeah.
For those of you who haven't seen these guys, they're a couple of how would you describe them? Nerds.
Yeah.
But like really annoying nerds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be too mean here, but
because we want to get them on the podcast.
That's right. They might be like, "Hey, look at this Menswear podcast. I bet they're the nicest guys of all time. Listen to this first 15 minutes," and they go, "Holy shit, these guys are assholes."
Oh yeah, I was gonna say this is behind the paywall, but this part isn't. So we gotta.
It's not.
Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell them that we think their podcast is trash.
Yeah, don't tell them that because we want to get them on the show. And so we can. I don't know. What would we do once we got them there? I just kind of want to know like what their brain is like because they're the guys. They do not love Cars 2. That's the thing that I learned about them. But they do love Star Wars and Marvel.
How you know that
I don't
suck.
like
Yeah.
Cars 2 either. That's the place where I agree with them.
No way.
And then they really get mad at movies like the one that we're going to be talking about today.
That's right.
For some reason.
They
but it's
don't
pretty
like
cool.
Mr. Scorsese.
They don't. There was a really funny video I saw where they're talking about Barbie, and they're talking about the monologue the one character has about how hard it is to be a woman, and all the contradictions or whatever. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but they're just like they were literally both saying it's like when that came out, I just kind of zoned out because like I'm not a woman, I don't give a shit about this. They're like that's just not my problem.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only clip I have of them is so for those of you who are on TikTok, I must have seen it like right when it came out, but it's a clip of them going, "All right, we're gonna say our review of Killers of the Flower Moon. Ready? Same time. 1, 2, 3," and then they just shrug,
They both shrug.
and that's it. And they're like, "I mean, it's okay." And then
they both are
there's
just
people
mad
who
that
have
it's
just
really
been-
long and sad. Which
Yeah,
I will not deny that it is very long and sad, but that's also like, how are you gonna make a happy movie about this?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Like-
that's the whole movie. It's just it's a movie about two guys. Well, not just two of them. There's a bunch of them.
It's a movie about two
bunch
guys.
of guys doing this.
I mean,
just
there's
some
many movies
despicable
that are about
things.
two guys deep down.
Deep down.
Name 5.
Mikey and Nikki, My Dinner with Andre, The King's
Yep.
Speech. Oh damn! I need okay.
Toy
two more,
Story.
two
The
more.
Super Mario Brothers movie.
The brothers sisters brothers. Sorry, and The Nice Guys.
That's right.
And the other
Yeah.
guys.
There
Would you
go.
think
And
the
other
Star
guys.
Wars prequels are also two guys? Right.
Oh, they're kind of about two guys, yeah. That's a classic two guys movies. Now we're doing a very Escape Pod podcast style discussion right now, bringing up Star Wars. They have a great interviewing style where they just get someone on and rapid fire just be like, "What's your favorite Pixar movie?" Like, "What's your favorite Disney song?" and stuff like that.
Wouldn't The Incredibles 2 be so good if in the beginning of it,
This is so funny.
Mrs. Incredible, or I'm sorry, Elastigirl dies protecting Mr. Incredible.
And she
and
dies
then-
specifically by being torn in half.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine this. There's, you just hear a snap, and then you look back and her body's cut in two, Like that's... And
And
then
then
that sticks with them, and that unfortunately makes Dash turn to the dark side.
The funniest thing
Evil
about that, so
speedster
that
is
was
the way to go,
that was
I
one of the
think.
people on the podcast describing why they were disappointed with the movie Incredibles 2. And they said that it's because they had that movie in their head, but the funniest part is they were like, I really thought it was going to happen. Like, I thought that I thought it was so good that that was the direction that Pixar was going to go with. And so they just, like, they were mad that the thing that they imagined
That's so
in their
funny.
head,
My idea makes the most sense, and therefore that's what other people
they
do.
have
I mean,
to
I don't
do
know.
it.
That's what the
I mean,
FNAF
I see
movie is
this-
gonna be.
I see that a
Oh,
lot
man.
with,
That's
like,
what's gonna
oh,
happen.
man. Are we going to talk about that movie next week?
We got it. We got to.
We got.
What a bonus episode. The Menswear of
Yeah.
of Five Nights at Freddy's, baby.
What if we add? I don't know if the timing is gonna work out on this. Can we record like a little 5-minute bit and then post it on at the end as a postscript? Like so, it's
We could do that.
Killers of the Flower Moon plus
Plus
Five
FNAF.
Nights at
I
Freddy's.
mean,
the movie.
we could also just do an episode. Like nothing's stopping us from doing an episode on FNAF and then just uploading it on mainline pod for no
That's
reason.
also true.
Like, we could,
I
we
don't
could also
like
do
but
that.
the
The
funniest thing
ultimate
about
bonus.
this. We don't play the game.
No, but we have seen the 2-hour documentary, whatever, video essays on this stuff.
I don't think a lot of fans play the game.
Oh, is that real?
Well,
do they just like
I feel
look
like-
at like pictures?
I feel like-
look at fan art.
Yeah, or they're like us, where we just watch the YouTube videos
Vanessa.
of the lore dump,
Yeah.
and then
I'm honestly kind of hoping by watching the movie I will understand what that game is about.
Well,
they can't do it in 1.5 hours.
I know
That's
exactly
true.
what it's about. We already know what it's about.
I understand. I think I just get the members of the Afton family confused. And so I don't know which one.
The basic plot, I don't mean to get into this, but the basic plot is there. It's the lore, like the lore is not that confusing. I don't think. I think it's like it's just like whose spirit is in where, but you get everything already. You get, the Aftons, and you get a Springtrap who turns into Burntrap or whatever, because he gets set on fire.
He does
you
get
get-
set on fire.
And then,
The worst part of it is stuff that happens to Michael, the son. Michael, don't leave me here. Where he gets his innards scooped out, right? He gets enerded.
He gets completely
say that?
scooped. Yeah. I don't, yeah.
on your podcast, can you say entered it?
Yeah. Am I banned?
I'm
I'm
banned.
glad to say
But
it.
anyway, for those, okay, we kind of hinted at it. Yeah, these guys who did this pop culture podcast did not like the movie, and there's a bunch of clips going around TikTok and Twitter of like people just reacting to their takes. It's just, again, like the first thing I saw was the shrug about if this is a good movie or not, and
Ouch.
then clips of him saying that it's if Marvel movies are roller coasters and Scorsese films are the DMV, and they get why it's there, but they're not going to enjoy it. And in that particular example, they don't even say Killers of the Flower Moon. They say Wolf of Wall Street, which is probably
again
the most entertaining, just start to finish, man.
It's 3 hours long, but it feels like it's like 20 minutes, man. I could watch that movie every day. It's so much fun. I don't know, like, that's the funny thing about, like, all the people that get really mad at Scorsese and imagine that he makes, like, fucking, 6-hour, like, black and white movies that are all in French or something, which is, to them, the craziest thing, is what I'm saying. But all his movies are very accessible. Okay, maybe the last two have been very sad, but I still think they're not, like, I don't know, they're just, like, really, really well-made studio movies.
Yeah, they're not even that, like, this is no offense to Marcus Scorsese, but like they're not like that artsy. They're pretty
I
straightforward.
feel he would be the
They're
first
very
person
grounded.
to admit that, I think, yeah.
Yeah. They're grounded. Like Spielberg has more weird stuff. I feel like art, I guess maybe like cinematography wise or whatever. But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But-
it's just kind of fascinating and baffling to see two guys just kind of miss the entire. Well, it's not even that. Like, there's a whole bunch of. The current discourse now is like art criticism. Like and this kind of goes back to like my whole thing with and trying to bring back Menswear. By the way, this is the Menswear podcast.
That's right.
Talking about like the intent and like people's the audiences and their intent behind making something, and like the accessibility of the audience. And it's just like, it's fine to look at something in terms of entertainment, like that's fine, but like you can still critique it as a work of something, like to bring it back to menswear, like I don't think that, like, I understand that a Men's Warehouse suit is practical and can be worn to a myriad of occasions in someone's life, but do I think it looks and is designed well as the garment? No. And I those are two, like, they're not mutually exclusive here. And so that's kind
They're
of the
not
same thing
mutually exclusive.
with this. With Kills of the Flower Moon, it's just, as they say, it's just not entertaining. And one of the craziest takes is they prefer Schindler's List because that was more entertaining for them. And then he
It's
goes
so
back
funny.
and backpedals and says, "Well, it was just more stimulating. It was just more like enthralling." And I'm like, okay, all right.
That is, I mean, I think I understand what they're saying because, like Schindler's List, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but it is a very sad movie. But I feel like it is not, like, Killers of the Flower Moon, I want to be clear, I like the movie, but I do think it is, like, kind of intentionally punishing. Like, it's, people have said this about The Irishman, but there's none of the fun, like, oh, this is why it's so much fun to be a gangster and a mobster kind of thing that you got in, like, Casino or Goodfellas, or, like, the criminal life in Wolf of Wall Street. It's all just very like, sad, and people are just kind of doing it, like, very workmanlike, like it's any job. All these, like, very evil acts and, like, murder and thievery. They're the burglars of the world.
Burglaries.
Yeah.
I mean,
but,
it's like an anti-Western, right? Where, like, the whole point is, like,
well, it's funny because Scorsese said that he came into this wanting it. Originally, it was going to be his, like, Western. Like, he's never made a Western. He really admires the genre. And so the original plot was going to be a pretty straightforward investigation following Jesse Plemons' character, who was originally played by Leo, Tom White. And it was just going to be, like, an investigation kind of about the birth of the FBI, or the Bureau of Investigation, as it was known at the time and in this movie. And yeah, it would have just been about this, like, fucking cowboy detective or whatever, who, I haven't read the book, Killers of the Flower Moon, but apparently, it's, like, a big part of the book. And the whole thing is that he is, like, the one good white man in the whole world. But at a certain point, Scorsese, I think he said that, like, DiCaprio and, like, maybe Lily Gladstone and other people were looking at it and were like, we should make this movie about the relationship between Ernest Burkhart and his wife Molly, which is what it ended up being about. But yeah, I don't know. It is.
Yeah.
You could still tell that I think he kind of went in, and it is, it is still very, like, Western-y. Like, instead of horses, they have the cars and stuff like that. But it's kind of the same,
Yeah, it's it's like not really frontier in the old sense, but it's still, like, the edge
it's
of
like, well,
America,
it's like the
and,
frontier is kind of,
making...
like, closing in. Like, at the beginning, you do get the sense that it is like a very old. It's like the thing that I'm thinking about is when they're reading the will or whatever. They're doing it, like, the lawyer and them are just sitting down in, like, the furniture store or whatever, and it's just, this kind of, like, central meeting place, and you see the town. It's like, all dirt roads and stuff like that. There's, like, one little main street, but you kind of see the, like, encroaching like, civilization, I guess, coming in through the course of the movie, because it takes place over several years, where it's like, I was thinking about, like,
you even get a little bit of, like, those, like, 1920s homes, near the end of the film,
exactly,
like the kind of,
like the bungalows,
in
the suburbs. That's like, those are there are neighborhoods in, like, Pasadena that look like that and stuff like that. But
yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about.
But,
well, I'm mighty sorry that you can't continue listening to this episode. And why is that, Spencer?
because we love money.
That's right. We do love it. I love every color.
That's right.
Greenbacks, bronze coins, silver dollars.
That's every color of money. The color of money. Right. Another source.
Monopoly money, baby.
Yeah. There you go.
Monop-nops.
But that's right. We're not stealing head rights. We are earning $5 from our patrons.
That's right. $5 a month gives you access on patreon.com/downdirection, by the way. $5 a month gives you access to our whole library of head rights, by which I mean bonus episodes of movie style, and that's usually it. There's like one or two that's like not about movie, that's just us riffing for an hour. But if you like this and you want more of this, you want to know what the hell the flower moon is and what the hell they're wearing in it,
and what they're killing.
Yeah, who's doing the killing? So go to patreon.com/downdirection. $5 a month to get access to that and our Discord community. It's always good stuff in there. People selling things, people talking about things, people ranting about their jobs.
People are talking about
people
things
saying that they don't want to. People saying that they can't watch this movie because it's too long and they just keep they need to keep pissing. Apparently, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you guys. You know, remind me never to watch an opera with y'all. But yeah, that's mainly it. But if you give us $10 a month, it's all of that. It's a package deal, my friend. You get those two things, Discord and the bonus episodes, and the third thing, which MJ will tell you about it now. MJ, take it away.
We are thanking our Sadcast fanatics, who are Shane Curry, Philip Kregard, Henrik Wilberg, and Alexander Batten. We thank
That's
you
right.
all.
If you want that shout out in everything that we do, even on my blog, which is not it's not unaffiliated with the podcast.
Even in conversations outside of the podcast with our friends, we have to thank you.
Yeah, every time we do something, we say, and by the way, thanks to the following. You don't get another one. You just get the one time. Per content. But I'm Ethan M. Wong. You can follow the podcast. Well, you can follow the podcast at Down Direction.
I'm at Spencer DSO.
And I'm at IMJ.
We stream also every once in a while. I don't know if we've streamed more since this has come out, but twitch.com/maybe. No, twitch.tv/Down
Justin
Direction.
TV.
We'll see you, and we were just talking about that yesterday, Spencer.
That's right, we sure were.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.